Good morning, Claire. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining.
You're so welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah, you have a very interesting story because you went from being a sales person to a Salesforce administrator, and there are a lot of salespeople I know uh, who are not happy in their job. In fact, I have a colleague just now who quit. He says, "I don't like sales. I want to get on Salesforce," and he's like, "How do I do it?" I'm like, "Wait, wait, wait. I will interview Claire, and she will tell you how she did it." And there are a lot of people out there like that who want to make the career transition.
Hmm.
And I think all of these people should focus in right now and listen to Claire. She's doing really well. All right, can you tell us about yourself, Claire, in your own words?
Sure. Well, currently I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I love it very much here. Salesforce administrator. I've been with AAA, the club specifically in the Carolinas, for about a year and a half now. And yeah, been a Salesforce administrator just as long. This is my first position within the Salesforce ecosystem, and I've been very happy here. And yeah, I can't wait to share the whole story from beginning to end.
Yes, please. So you're right now a Salesforce administrator. This is your first Salesforce job. You've been in this role for 1.5 years. Why did you decide to become a Salesforce administrator?
Great question. It kind of came as part of a journey of my career. And actually, before I was in sales, I actually was in education. I taught elementary school. And so the transition all the way to eventually finding Salesforce was just driven by different things. Firstly, I wanted to leave education because of the burnout, a lot of teachers experience. Was lucky enough to get into a sales role. Breaking out of education is very difficult and has its own challenges. Was unhappy in sales as well. I'm sure you've heard some of those complaints. You said some people are out there, I hate sales, it's so tough, it's not making me happy. But once I discovered Salesforce as a career, what drew me to it was just the challenges, the problem solving, the feeling of value and reward that I got by being able to solve a particular challenge. This person needs to see this record, these people need to accomplish this type of business challenge. How do I make that happen? And that is very satisfying to be able to do those things. So that's why I found Salesforce. That's why I fell in love with it. And that's why I chose to continue pursuing it. Just the I don't know, makes me feel valued as an employee to be able to provide that skill.
So for you, it was a conscious decision uh, to exit sales and become a Salesforce administrator. It's just a lot of people become Salesforce administrators accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think most people become accidentally because they were doing something and then they happen to use Salesforce at their job, and then they're like, the company asks them, "Hey, can you do more of Salesforce administrator?" And like, "Oh wow, that's interesting." But you consciously pursue the Salesforce administrator job, and that's very tough to do, to get your first Salesforce administrator job,
Yep.
because everyone wants experienced people, and there are a lot of people looking for Salesforce administrator jobs. Yeah, it's the competition is high because it's the responsibility of Salesforce administrator. They're not too difficult to learn, and right now it's getting easier and easier to get their Salesforce administrator certification because of there are a lot of good courses out there. Trailhead is getting better. There are certification dumps, and there is a lot of resources right now. So the competition is high, but you were still able to get your first Salesforce administrator job at a very nice, very well, big brand company.
Yep.
And so you must be doing something correct. You must have a technique. So can you tell us, how did you get your first Salesforce job?
Sure. Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think, I had two certifications by the time I was applying for this specific job. I had the admin and I had the app builder. So I think that set me apart just a little bit more. But I think I also spent a lot of time doing other activities to make myself employable, make myself hireable. I think a lot of people think, because Salesforce kind of pushes the idea, hey, get your certification and these magical Salesforce jobs are just waiting for you. And, people get
Yeah,
in and realize it's it's hard. I mean, making a career change is hard in itself, and then specifically one into a technical role that has a lot of responsibility, you know, people
Exactly.
people experience. So I think I had a lot of other activities that I could say, like, look at me, I'm a great employee, not just because I have Salesforce knowledge. I can learn that, I can learn it. I came into a team of Salesforce professionals, so I had people that I could kind of rely on. But I was taking courses in SQL. I was taking courses in business analysis. I had luckily some roles where I was using Salesforce, and I was kind of on like a center of excellence team, so I could use that as part of my resume. I tried a lot of different things to make myself stand out, and not necessarily just to make yourself stand out, but I needed a job. I hated teaching. Didn't hate teaching, but was burnt out by it. I do very much love education, hated sales. And I said, I need to something else. And so it was that fire inside of me saying, look, I need a job, and I want a job that I'm going to love, and that's going to carry me through the rest of my career. What do I need to do to get there? And I think that kind of attitude and those actions that I could show on my resume, like, here, look what I'm doing, look what I've done, look at the kind of person I am. And I think that was instrumental in moving forward for me.
When you were applying for the Salesforce administrator job at AAA, you had Salesforce user experience, right?
Yep.
How long was it? What, 1 year? You'd say 2 years?
Maybe 2 years. So I
Two
used
years?
Salesforce when I was in the sales role. And then
Mm-hmm.
actually between that sales role and where I am now, I had another job. It was right when
Mm-hmm.
I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. And so I wasn't quite ready to be hired yet as a Salesforce admin. So I took a role in kind of like a sales ops kind of
Mm.
position where I was also using Salesforce. So I think that's another, I guess, piece of advice. Like, if you are early in your career, and if you're able to take that next step of like doing like a sales operations role or a business analysis role or something where you're a user of Salesforce, or even just another CRM. I mean, everyone uses CRMs. Like, you can kind of spin that and maybe ask for a little bit of a leadership role in your organization. Like, hey, I'm comfortable with Salesforce. I used it. Can I be the Salesforce consultant on your team or something? Even if it just means that you're the go-to person, you can use those ways to get yourself a little bit this much closer into the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Before you got the offer from AAA, how many other interviews did you have?
um, I don't even know. A million.
Really?
No, I don't know. I can remember maybe three that were actual serious Salesforce admin roles. And
Like,
actually, for this AAA role, so I ended up getting the role through a recruiter. I had interviewed with a
uh,
different recruiter specifically for this role, and she turned me down. They said, no, you're not experienced enough. They're not going to hire you. They're not even going to consider you. Well, then I spoke to another recruiter, and he said, absolutely, we want you. I'm getting you in front of them tomorrow. So, you know, you can't always trust what people tell you. You have to kind of just keep going. And I told that person, I said, hey, I think that they already kind of said they don't want me. He's like, no way, no way. I I'm putting you in front of these people. And I think, like I said before, the things that I was able to show him of just about myself and how I thought I'd be a good employee, that kind of came through. So
cool. How long was your job search?
I'd say from when I started my Trailhead account to when I got hired was probably 9 months.
Wow, pretty.
It was a quick enough turnaround. I mean, it felt longer to me because we'll say from when I quit teaching to when I started my Salesforce role was probably 3 years.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
that's kind of a long time. I mean, specifically looking in Salesforce, I had that maybe 9 month turnaround, but before that, I was taking other courses. I had started like an educational design coursework at University of Central Florida. I had been in that sales role. I was applying for other ranges of jobs. I mean, I was just really, really active. So all in all, it was kind of a 3 year journey from one career to the next.
And when you started doing Trailhead, was the time you got serious about like, I want to become a Salesforce administrator?
Yeah.
Wow. And in the 9 months that you were looking for a job, how many months were you unemployed? Like,
That's a good question. I was unemployed for 4 months, and that is my own doing because I I hated sales so much. I just quit
Yeah.
one day. I quit before I could be fired, technically. I was in a meeting, you're not performing very well. And I said, you know what? I quit. So, yeah, it ended up being 4 months. And that's when I went into that other kind of intermediate sales ops role.
Got it. Got it. Wow, that's a lot of perseverance, Claire. Well done. It's
Do what it takes.
changing career is very difficult. Yeah,
Yes.
it's extremely difficult because you got to learn something new.
It's
Uh,
tough too. And I think honestly, one of the big challenges is not just doing the work that needs to be done, but it's overcoming people's perceptions, especially leaving teaching. There's this
mm,
perception of like, oh, you used to be a teacher. You do teacher things. You know, you got a degree in music, you do music things. It's like, well, I'm also, capable of learning and doing other things, and having to kind of overcome that checkbox on a resume. Well, you don't have CRM experience. You don't have this. You don't have this. You don't have technical. It's like, well, I'm still capable of it. And you have to just put the work into showing them that you can do something else. I have a friend, she's applying for jobs now, not in Salesforce at all, but she went to one interview. She's highly qualified for it. Oh, but you've never used a CRM before, so we don't think we can hire you. I mean, this is someone as an end user, and they saw her that as a weakness, even though, I mean, you can just train someone to use the platform. So
yeah,
it's very frustrating. And so
yeah,
my heart goes out to all people doing it right now. I know how tough it is.
yeah. It's very tough, but Claire did it. She persevered,
You can
and
do it too.
she stayed focused. And it's very difficult to stay focused when you're unemployed, when you have bills coming in, and it might just be easier to go back to what you were doing previously. And
There's honestly no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with having a job. It just takes a lot of time to move forward, and you can almost use that, spin that in a positive way. Like, yeah, I know I'm still in this career that I said that I was leaving, but I got to work. And this is what I'm also doing to make it better. I'm taking these courses, in SQL database
mhm.
querying. That's kind of a translatable skill that'll perk their ears up. Or I'm on Trailhead. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So ain't no shame in getting a paycheck.
Yes, yes. But get the paycheck and keep learning
Yeah,
Salesforce.
but it's exhausting. I totally understand. Yeah.
Yeah. And why did you think you could get a Salesforce administrator job? Uh,
Um, that's a good question. I really enjoyed it. I thought I was doing well at it. I thought it was something that kind of fit in with my personality, my specific skill
mm,
set, and the things that I like to do. But there were periods of doubt, in that 3 years where I was making that transition of like, could I even do this? Is anyone ever going to see value? Will I ever be employable? Will I ever make it? Maybe I'll just go work at the mall for the rest of my life. Like, I totally understand the burnout and exhaustion that some people face changing careers. It gets so discouraging. But like I said, I just kind of persevered. I liked doing it anyway. And I was studying during that time. I was unemployed. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just go do a few more badges. It's not going to hurt anything. And um, yeah, kind of the the broken road that led me to eventually being a Salesforce job. But
ah. And what was the most difficult thing for you in your job search?
mhm. um, like I said, I think just overcoming other people's perceptions and convincing people that I was hireable. It's just tough. I knew I could do it. I knew that I really liked it. I knew that I would be successful, but sometimes hearing no, 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 it makes you so frustrated because you're like, well, what do I have to do? What else? What else do you need to know? So, like I said, I kind of just supplemented that Salesforce learning with so many other things, like taking the business analysis courses. And yes, it's an investment, but there's plenty of like online courses you can take that are like cheaper. Like the SQL course I took was like $100, on Ed2Go, or even stuff on LinkedIn Learning or something where you can just show I'm doing the work and making myself employable, not just with Salesforce, but as an employee that's going to bring value to your company. But that is definitely the hardest thing about it. Is changing careers is just convincing people you can. Like, I don't know what recruiters think, like how they think things get done. Like if they think people have only ever done things they've done before. I'm like, but you're doing something you've never done before. You weren't always a recruiter, I assume. You didn't come out of, you weren't born a recruiter. So it's frustrating, but yeah, that's the hardest part.
Okay.
People.
It is, yeah. It's
Yeah, I thought Salesforce learning was the simplest part of it because I really liked it. And I mean, it's tough
mm,
and it's tricky, and you have to do a lot of Googling and you have to do a lot of, banging your head against the keyboard. But, if you like that kind of technical work, it's fine, which I do.
cool. And did you have a mentor or someone helping you through your Salesforce uh, job search?
No, not anyone specific. I mean, Google and the whole Ohana as a whole, but no, I did not know anyone.
Wow, really amazing. It's hard to stay focused on what do you have to improve on. How do you have to have a resume? How do you have to LinkedIn profile? How do you answer these questions? Uh, uh, but you figure it out yourself somehow.
Mhm.
Well done.
A lot of Googling, a lot of webinars on resume building and stuff. Just doing my best to absorb all the information out there. But
Yeah, but there's just so much information out there. It's hard to like know which one should you act upon or which one is most important.
yeah.
And cool. So tell us about your current job. You're a sales administrator at AAA. What do you do?
Yeah, so my team, we have a manager who's specifically a Salesforce manager for our team. There's myself and another admin, and then two developers. So we all kind of share the administrative responsibilities in terms of like solution designing and you know little maintenance and upkeep that we have to do throughout the day. So it's not like specifically like they write code, we make custom fields. We all kind of share in it. It's a really collaborative environment, but our I'm super lucky because at AAA, specifically at AAA Carolinas, because there's like different clubs around, we use Salesforce for a lot of things. We have Sales Cloud, we use Service Cloud really heavily. That's where I spend, I think, a lot of my time in Service Cloud. We've started Field Service Lightning for our emergency road service. So that's really cool. We
Wow.
have Marketing Cloud. The Marketing Cloud sits with the marketing team, so they do most of that. But we have a lot of really exciting projects going along all the time. So yeah, just kind of do whatever the business requests and try to offer up what we can in terms of our Salesforce knowledge, how we think we can make their business better. So it's been a really great relationship with the Salesforce team and with the rest of the company because they've seen value in what we can provide and the amount of time we can save them, especially with the cases handling. That's been a huge game changer. That was put in place before I got there, but we've been able to keep that up for them. So it's yeah, do all the things that an admin needs to do.
What are the three things you love the most about your job?
I love learning new things, I think. And like I said, I'm super lucky in this role that they really encourage that and challenge you to learn new skills and present them. And it's so exciting to be able to say like, oh, I had no clue how I would have solved this problem 6 months ago, but now I know about custom metadata. And so now I can set up these custom metadata records and we can solve this problem that we had that I didn't know about, or, even learning some development tools like, hey, well, I want to use this visual flow for something, but I can't get this specific component. Hey, here's what I found. Developers, can we accomplish this? Can I try my hand at it? So that's one thing I really love. I love that we get to use so many of the Salesforce products. I think that is really exciting and we also have like the unlimited licenses. So I never have to say, oh, we're not allowed to use this or we're limited here. So that's really cool. So sorry to everybody that doesn't have that, but still it's just another challenge to work around, right? And that's exciting. And then, the challenge of it. I like accomplishing things. In sales, it's such a different task, hit the phones, pound the pavement, grow your pipeline, make a sale. And, making the sale is so rewarding, but all the disappointments and all of the hard work, it mounts on you so much that by the time you get to making a sale, it doesn't even make up for the amount of time you go through. I mean, some people love sales and I have some good friends, like, yeah, you're a salesperson. You love sales. For me, it was just, oh my gosh, it just, made me feel awful about myself, and I couldn't make a sale and I couldn't call people. So being able to just like deliver my task and deliver it well and that be my job, I love that.
I agree. I agree. I was not in sales before, but I was doing research and also sometimes trying to close certain deals. And
Mm.
There's so many things outside your control. Despite your best effort, you don't know when it will happen. And so there are a lot of days you go home and like thinking, okay, what did I do? What do I have to show for the day, right? For my effort. And you, me being a Salesforce professional, I have no problem showing something for my day. I always have a couple of things I can show for and make myself happy. And not just to make the company happy that they're paying me, but I want to make myself happy that I'm using my time well. And it looks like you also are very happy that
Mhm.
there are a lot of things you can show for the day, right? Learning new things, fixing certain issues.
Exactly. Exploring the products. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's exactly how I feel. I accomplish something every day.
Every day, right? Every day is a reward. That's
Even if
amazing.
it's just I tweaked a report. Hey, I wanted to see cases from last month, not this month. I can do that for you. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I can always provide value to myself and I can always provide value to someone else. And it's in my control, most
It's
of
your
it.
control. Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes you got to go get help. Sometimes there are limitations, but I mean, it's not complete mystery every single day when I wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt very empowered wh- when I felt like, wow, there's so many things I can do.
Exactly. That's a good word. Empowered.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How did the quality of your life change since you became a Salesforce administrator? Like, I know your job is really good, but maybe things outside your job also
Yeah.
got better.
One of my last years teaching, I taught elementary school for 4 years. I think it was my third year, and I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot with my school, a lot of extracurriculars. I was helping out with other schools. I mean, burning the candle at both ends. And I worked a second job. I was waitressing on the weekends at Cheesecake Factory. Come visit me, Mall Millennium, Orlando. But I got to a point, one, having to work two jobs to make the salary that I'm making now. And now I, work regular 9 to 5, sometimes take a long lunch break if needed. I can leave when I want to leave if I've got an appointment. I have so much more flexibility in the day. But this third year teaching, I was so burnt out that I couldn't even take a full breath. I mean, literally physically exhausted. You hear stories about celebrities collapsing from exhaustion. I was like, oh my gosh, I know what they're talking about. I was so
Really?
tired. And I made it a little bit better my last year teaching. I was like, I can't get this tired. But like I said, having autonomy over my life, I had children I had to take care of. I can't just I have an emergency, I got to go, or I need to schedule this important doctor's appointment, or I need to make an important phone call. Sometimes, I have to make important phone calls in the day. And if you're watching children, you can't do that. You're so restricted to what needs to happen in the classroom. And I'm so glad we have wonderful teachers that are able to make it happen, but just having room to breathe and time to take for myself, I'm like almost never stressed anymore, especially now because of COVID. I'm working from home. I mean, I don't have to commute. I don't have to prepare my meals every day. It is just so peaceful, and I have so much more energy to do extra things. I mean, I get to 5 o'clock, I'm like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna go da da da. Instead of like, oh my gosh, I hope I have enough energy to call them. So it's just the amount of time and energy that I get back is just like through the roof. And like we were saying earlier, that feeling of empowerment, that feeling of value, it's like it just increases your confidence so much. It's that,
Mm,
with teaching, it's like every day you're like, oh my gosh, I failed this, I failed that. Even if you did a great job, still there's just so much that happens in a day. Like you can't even, it's just too much. Same thing with sales. You go home every day, well, I didn't hit my
yeah.
number, hit this, da, 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 da. So just, yeah, in every single way, my life has definitely improved.
Yeah.
Keep
Well done.
working, you can get there.
I think in a lot of jobs, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of micromanagement.
Mhm. And I find that a little bit too with this job, especially since our emergency road service is running on field service lightning. So of course,
Hmm.
things break on the weekend or in evenings. But because I have so much time back during the day to take care of, go make a full lunch, I don't mind spending that time in the weekends because, we've built a relationship with the team, the business team that manages it. We know we're responsible for it and we take pride in that. So if I got to work a few hours on the weekend, um, I will gladly do it to maintain the quality of life that I have now. So,
Well,
yeah.
well done. You're 9 months of effort have really paid off, and looks like you landed a really good place that
Yep.
gives you a lot of learning, interesting challenges, probably with good colleagues.
Great colleagues. Yeah, if they're watching this, you guys are the best.
Wow, and you have 6 certifications right now. Well done.
Yep, just got my field service lightning certification last week, I think. So
Well done. You're a learning machine.
yeah, well, my coworkers set the bar high. I think two of my coworkers, three of them, if you count the previous admin who's now left to actually go work for Salesforce, all of them have all of their architect, not CTA, of course, but all of them had system and application architect. So I got a long way to go to be equal to my teammates, but
That's one of the other things I like about Salesforce, being a Salesforce professional, is that you get to work with smart people who set the high bar.
I'm never the smartest person in the room. I can always learn something from somebody. And the Charlotte user group is like alive and well. So every month we meet, of course it's virtual now, but we have, the Saturday meetups, and we have a nonprofit group and the marketing cloud group. I mean, it's just awesome to be in a place where so many people are sharing. So
Inspiring each other, helping each other. Yeah. All right. Amazing story, Claire. Thank you so much for sharing all this. Before we wrap up, can you sum it up, please? If someone wants to make a career switch, let's say from sales to Salesforce professional, what are 3 things you would recommend?
say one is to be active. Go out, take courses, do some work, just do something to show that you are actively working to improve yourself, to make a career change, because they're going to look at your resume and they're going to want to see that you have done something that's relevant to what they're doing. It stinks, I know. You might have the capability, you might have the acumen, you might have the knowledge. They want to see it on your resume. So stay active and get that stuff on there. 2, stay positive. I know it's the hardest thing to do in the whole world, but the steps that you're taking now will pay off. In a few years, you'll be able to look back and see how everything fit together, but just stay positive. Know that if you're staying active and doing these right things, you're doing the right thing for you, the best thing for you. That's what I tell my teacher friends that are trying to leave teaching. What do I do? I'm like, just do it. I promise you, you have to take the leap. And 3, just always be learning, be on Trailhead every day, get a badge every single day if you can, and you'll fall in love with it, right? And if you're not falling in love with it, then maybe it's not for you, because there's so many people out there that are falling in love with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, stay active. I think that's the most important thing, is get stuff on there. If you don't have any Salesforce experience, create a dev org and post about it on a blog. Maybe no one will read it, but you can tell the recruiters to go there and you can have them look and see it. So you'll have some kind of physical evidence of your worth, because you are worth it, and you just have to convince other people. So yeah, stay active, stay positive, and learn every day. Apply for jobs every day.
Cool.
Take Sunday off if you need a break. Get some ice cream.
It's worth it.
Yep, absolutely, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's a very, very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just listen to Claire, how much more she's enjoying her life, her job every day.
Yeah, see the smile? So happy.
Imagine some people don't make the career switch. They think they're 30 years old or 35 years old, and it's too late for them to make the switch, but
Not too late.
too late, right?
It's really like, imagine, I mean, you have put 5 years of work in, 5 years of work. Those 5 years are going to pass anyway, right? The next 5 years of your life are going to go over, and they're going to be done. You can choose to use it to make a career switch if that's what you want to do, or to not. I mean, go get a master's degree, right? Oh, it costs, $15,000. Well, if you can get a job where you'll eventually make $15,000 more, then it pays off in the end, right? You kind of got to weigh those balances. So yeah, think about how happy do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want to accomplish? And you got to take the sacrifice to make it happen.
Cool.
You can do it. I'll see you guys all at Trailhead next time, or not Trailhead, Dreamforce.
Dreamforce.
Yeah, next time it's live, I want to see all you guys there.
If people have questions for you, can they leave it in the comments, and then you can maybe respond to them?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to.
Cool. Thank you so much, Claire, for joining. Amazing story. Amazing happy story. I love happy stories, and this is a totally happy story.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to be here. It's great to meet you.
All right.
Good day.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Bye.